what were you doing with your life at 23? Welcome back to the Playhouse featuring Joram Mwinamo. Like, this guy his story is something. It's a story about the power of discipline, resilience, hard work, thinking out of the box, knowing your value as your black African self, being proud in that, and knowing that the impossible is possible. There's a lot that I'm already learning from your story, which I didn't know. I say one of the things about CTA is that you never really know people until you take time to get to know people. So as much as I've seen you church and all these different circles, I've now really sat down to ask you your story. And because of that, I'm like, who is this? So thank you, Saroba, for the amazing accommodation. Let's continue this story. So now your schooling is coming to an end, and go on with that.
So I think, like I mentioned, a lot of that was just the whole AIESEC thing. In fact, now when I think back, several things happened when I became president. Because year after night inspired the guys, because I remember the year after me was a Nairobi president, but the year after that was a guy from Moi who now ran and became the national president. And he even went on until the international office and became director for Africa from Moi University. So I think I broke a glass ceiling at that level for people believing that, it was not just a pre-serve of...
Let me tell you what I say. So CTA does 4 things. So and it's in line exactly with what you've said. CTA does 4 things. We educate, we positively entertain. I've been laughing throughout your stories. We inspire. But this is the one which I added like maybe a year ago. We aspire. So blacks have never seen blacks. Africans have never seen Africans. I say CTA is Africans for Africa. Stories by Africans to the world. Actually, not even for other Africans, to the world. So because Africans have never had some of these stories, their dream is to be like Jeff Bezos. But now, what you did, people were like, I want to be like Joram. I want to be the president of AIESEC, because now they can see. It's like when I say a lot of people in the slums want to be watchmen or house helps. It's because that's all that they know.
That they're exposed to.
But the moment you hear a different story and a different narrative, that happens. So that I just had to interfere there.
So my exposure continued. It didn't stop there. Because when I finished, now it was clear. Actually, I finished my AIESEC career a few months to finishing university, because then we had to do the whole wait, and then graduation after we finished a long time ago, and all sorts of things. So I had a bit of a period there now trying to think what's next. One of the other interesting things before we leave the AIESEC story. So AIESEC is a pretty, I would say, liberal organization, especially globally. Because you have people from all sorts of backgrounds. In fact, in its definition, it says AIESEC does not discriminate against religion, sex, sexual orientation, and all these sorts of things. So it really opens you up to different ways of thinking.
You must have seen
different. Like we saw it all. We saw it all, and from very early on. And on this flip side, you remember I'd come from this very conservative Christian background. So there's a lot of people who felt there was a lack of congruence between me going all the way to leadership for AIESEC and still being a Christian. I mean, we had the parties, we had everything, but you remember I had already started my journey towards opening up my mind towards, questioning a lot of things. But I even had a lot of my friends in CU in campus who had known me from church or something, be like, how can you be in AIESEC and you're a Christian? But I'm like, where's the lack of? It was a big deal. It was a big deal. I would maybe not even be invited to certain things because I was failing the name of Christians by being, both sides, and they had this thing that AIESECers are just crazy people. But I'm like, you can be who you are in AIESEC. In fact, a lot of people in AIESEC didn't understand why I was very guarded in. Like, I would not go all out like they would when it comes to doing, like, there are crazy things I did that, we would do as being part with everyone, but like the whole drinking and I didn't really participate in that. So it would kind of baffle a lot of people as to why this guy keeps the straight. You're the president of AIESEC. You can literally get anything you want in the organization.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still managed to.
On your
maintain.
own, you had decided on the path that
Yes.
you are going with.
So
that on this side you're not being derailed by into doing peer pressure things. But also on this other side of the Christianity, you're not being pulled back into religion.
Yes, into what I call legalism.
Yes.
Within religion. So I would say I am a moderate liberal, type of person. I would not say no to a glass of alcohol or whatever it is, but I would also, you'd not find me jumping into extremes of what would happen on the other side of life. So anyway, going through that.
And where you hold a question, when you come home during holidays, where you stay now at that time? Because your dad's moved to Shags.
So first I would stay in universities a lot, because just the whole AIESEC job, you're moving around universities, trainings and all sorts of things. So there's almost no university that had AIESEC that I had not slept in, whether KU, Moi, Egerton, USIU. When I was the national president and we had an office here, I also had accommodation in Nairobi University. So there's a lot of people who think I was in Nairobi University because they used to see me there a lot.
Oh, as AIESEC, they give you accommodation?
No. I would just room with my
peeps.
fellow AIESEC peeps, where they would get a room or something, and people in Nairobi, some would get a room and not stay in it. So we'd always have some form of accommodation or another.
So you're a nomad?
I was a nomad, yes. But I remember I was on the Nairobi-Nakuru highway literally every weekend or week or something, back and forth. I go do cuts, come back, go do assignments, come back, go do exams, come back. But I hardly attended classes in my fourth year. I would just get notes, read, do the exams.
I get it.
Your
home, you're like Kanye. My home is my bag.
So and then out of the country for a large part of the time. I remember I'd struck a deal with my sister. So one time I went for an AIESEC conference in Europe, and then while I was away, we striked, and university was shut down. Instead of coming back, I had the American visa. I just hopped over to the US and stayed there for a few months.
Nice.
Yeah, and then came back.
Did you connect to the AIESEC in States?
No. That one now was just like family, chapang raos and stuff. Just hang out with family. Then I came back. Because flights from Europe to America are really, really cheap. So for them it was like no big deal. So some of us,
which is good. That means you still maintain the relationship.
I maintained the relationship. Managed to keep hanging out with them. Then when I finished, so both campus and AIESEC, the next logical thing was to go on an exchange program. So first I ran for international office, very competitive. I ran for Africa director, I didn't make it. Then after that, I got an opportunity. The president in Uganda at the time managed to link me up to an exchange opportunity with a Dutch company there that was running a project, like an innovative project in climate change and stuff. Those days, 2004. And so I got a contract, went to Uganda for a year for my first exchange. Pretty good job. They gave me a car, gave me a house. So at 24, I was balling in Uganda. I remember I met a lot of Kenyans who are doing their Form 5 and 6 there. Now I was the guy with the car to drive them to the hanyas and stuff. And
so what were you doing for this organization?
So I was a project manager. It was an interesting project. They had put this eco lodge in the middle of a forest. And so my job was to try and find economic opportunities for the people living around the forest, using this lodge as a focal point so that they don't cut down the forest. So there's alternative sources of income for them. They had funding from the Netherlands. So, my job was to put that project together.
You're 24?
Yeah. But with all the experience I've gotten here, in fact, I remember I tried getting a job here and that didn't work out. Like after a week, I tried getting a job with a small consulting firm here while I was waiting to see if any international opportunities opened up. And just first 3 days, after traveling the world, managing all these international things, and then you have someone micromanaging you, I think he was looking at me through the lens of this a fresh university graduate. But I'm like, I can do so much more. Why are you constraining me? And he didn't seem to believe that I would do it. And I always say, had I hung around there and, built the consulting firm I've built today, would be very far had he seen what my potential was. But then I realized quite early that I was going to be a misfit in many of the spaces I would enter.
Yeah.
Because I had all these
but I can understand where they're coming from.
And then
had they seen other young blacks of your age?
Exactly.
You were an anomaly.
Yeah. In fact, in that job, he was a Mzungu. And that was part of a challenge. He just couldn't see how all these things I was saying I was capable of doing, I could do.
Okay.
So very quickly, I was just like, tusisumbuane, let me just go and pursue something else. And that's when now the Uganda opportunity came. Of course, I was hustling here and there because I remember even for a certain period, because of AIESEC, I'd worked in Kenya Shell, the oil company. And we went in for a small project where we were helping them do research as some AIESECers. Then later on, the boss, a guy called Eric Mwangi, took some liking to me. And after that, he had some work that needed to be done in the office later. So he kept me on for like another few months on like an intern salary. And I got now into the mix of getting some corporate experience alongside doing AIESEC work. So there are always those opportunities that kept coming up because of our corporate connections.
Yeah.
So anyway, I ended up in Uganda. So I spent the year 2005 in Uganda, all the way to the end of the year. Did the project. By the end of the year, the first initial contract was coming to an end. And then a second opportunity came up through a company run by AIESECers called Global Entrepreneurs. So I got the opportunity now to go to Oslo in Norway.
What?
For another year and a half.
So did you go?
Yes.
Yes.
So packed my bags, went to Norway, to Oslo. The exchange program was catered for by the Norwegian government. So there was all these things of going through like induction, learning about Norwegian culture, learning the language. They paid for me to learn the language.
Can you speak?
I have forgotten a lot of it. But every time I meet Norwegians, I'm able to impress them with a few words here and there.
How do you say hi?
Hvordan har du det?
So you are in it.
I have a lot of Norwegian friends in Kenya today as a result. So anyway, so I go to Norway. It was an international business development job. What it meant, so this company, Global Entrepreneurs, had one office in Kenya, one office in India, Delhi, and another office in Colombia, because it was AIESECers connecting themselves. And so they were sourcing products that would come from these markets and selling them in Europe. So, and it was more like commodities. Yeah, so like in Africa, I remember there was a point they were doing teak from DRC, they were doing macadamia from Kenya. India also had some dried fruits. Colombia had some whatever. So my job based in Oslo was to look for international markets within Europe. So I traveled a lot to the UK, to Netherlands, to Belgium, like markets where consolidators of products are before they resell them to like now supermarkets or manufacturers and stuff. So I was doing a lot of sales.
How was that? Okay, like I mean, first and foremost, I know your whole AIESEC time. You've been meeting a lot of different races and people, cultures and all that. But this time, this is legal. This work.
Yes,
this is not that you're going and
work permit, everything. So fast, on a very good salary, everything paid for, house again, travel, and the like, taken pretty good care of. I think several things happened on this particular phase, which one is that now living amongst Europeans and working amongst Europeans for a very long period of time is what now cemented that they are not smarter than we are. Like we really can match up. And this is where I would hear some of those annoying statements, annoying to me, where somebody's like, hey, you seem pretty smart from Africa. Did you go to a private school?
Yeah.
Then, those questions. You're from Kenya. Do you run? I'm like, there are certain mentalities people had about what an African is supposed to be. So when they would find that I have the best contributions in the room, I am the smartest guy in the room, it would really surprise them. And then I'm like, I mean, if you think I'm smart, you need to meet some of my friends from back in Kenya who are really, I think, are really, really smart. And that's the thing that now began to really break this thing of they're not superior in any way. Like if we wanted to do the same things, so I became a real student now of culture and history. Because one, I had a lot of time. I would read a lot of books, both about European history, African history, just trying to see, like, where did this disparity happen? And I would start to now form very strong opinions about why Africa is poor. Part of it is by design, part of it is our own making, and part of it is that we just don't believe we can do any better, and we end up doing things that now hold us back. So yeah, that's my running around Europe on the Norwegian job kind of cemented that whatever, and it also cemented the pride that now I had as an African, where I kept thinking through that time, because even by the end of so I was in Norway for 14 months.
Is Norway definitely overstates the ratio of blacks to whites?
No,
crazy.
Most of the time in Norway I was the only black guy in the room. Yeah, there are very few Kenyans or Africans or even black people. Yeah, in the cities there, very, very few.
Talking about, did you then get to meet other Kenyans there?
So yes, I did. I met other Kenyans. There was a few, who help you like get around, know where to buy stuff, especially if you want to buy Kenyan stuff to cook and that kind of thing, or near Kenyan stuff. They were there, but I think my AIESEC career had taught me that the biggest value was in integrating. So So my first housemate was a Norwegian lady. We in a 2-bedroomed house that was kind of like hers, went online, found, this, whatever. That in itself was an experience. Like there it's normal. Here you say you have a lady as your housemate, and
in fact,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
She ended up becoming like a big sister to me. Very good friend. They visited Kenya like 2 years ago. In fact, the guy she met and hooked up with and got married to, I was part of that whole mix. We were friends, having conversations about it and that kind of thing. So I became like really close family friends with her. Her family became like my family. So midway during my stay, they hooked up, and then, I had to find a place. Yeah, because now they got serious about it. And then I moved into another house that now was more like a student house. So really huge house in the middle of a city. I think it had 9 rooms. So we were 3 guys, a Guatemalan guy called Mata, Norwegian guy called Biona, and myself. Then the rest were ladies. And, we had so much fun in that house. So everyone was like maybe, first level of their jobs, all pretty young, because it was student housing. They were all like just post-campus.
Yeah.
So yeah, we became also very good friends just in those circles. Built some pretty good friendships. I remember one of the things that happened during my going away party was the Norwegians were shocked how many people came to my party, because they're like, you've only been here a year and a half. There was like 50 guys who came. They're like, how did you make all these friends from the time you were here? Remember the relationships guy from primary school? Yeah. I built relationships very quickly and maintained them, to the point that when I had my wedding, when I came back, 7 Norwegians took a plane and flew to attend my wedding.
What? Yeah,
some of them were my housemates, others were friends that I had made when we were there.
So how do you build friendships?
I mean, for me, I don't know, just that whole thing of when I connect with people, particularly, if there's a high level of trust. And I was telling someone the other day how I'm the kind of guy who, if I'll be doing something and then something makes me remember you or think about you, I'll be the guy for reaching out for, hey dude, it's been a while, can we just sit and have coffee? And we'll sit. Maybe we haven't even seen each other for 3 years, but during that time we'll catch up like no time has passed in between. And then now we'll be even, and then if we disappear from each other again, at least catch up. So I do that with an extremely, I think it's one of my superpowers, very large number of people. Yeah. Even like now when I travel for work to different countries, I'll always reach out to say my AIESEC friends, we'll sit down, I'll get to meet their families, we'll catch up, we'll reconnect. Like it's something I do very naturally.
Are you guarded to make it? The other day a guy came and asked me, and I haven't been asked this in a while. He was like, can I be your friend? I realized that was such a good question that he asked, because it showed me how I'm very guarded. I'm not like my kids. My kids make friends every day.
No, I still make friends very easily. I still make friends even into, I think in this age that we are in, people don't make friends as easily. For me, if we have some commonality that we can easily connect around, I have no issues building a relationship around that. Yeah.
Okay, so you do this job, you do a bit of travel across other countries in Europe.
Yeah.
Why do you decide to come back?
So there's something I missed.
Grace.
There's grace, and there's something else I missed. When I finished uni in 2004, enter David Kamau.